You are 9 years old. Your name, for now, is Avdis. It means good news. You live in the highlands of Armenia, where fog drips like honey over the peaks and smoke from the hearth never really leaves your hair. You are your father's third son, the one who doesn't carry wood with as much strength but listens better than any of them. Your father calls you his third eye, always watching what others miss. You've never been outside your village. You know nothing of the empire that dreams beyond these hills. You've never even seen a Turk. Until the morning the black silk comes. They arrive just after dawn. Not with drums, not with fire, but with lists. You're tying your bootlaces when you hear your mother's bowl break in the courtyard. Your father's voice doesn't follow. That is what freezes you. You step out, and the world has split. 6 men in robes dark as ink stand in the center of your home, and one of them is pointing at you. The others are already walking toward the forge. Your older brother steps forward, but your father stops him with only a glance. And then, your father does something you do not understand, not until much later. He takes the silver cross from your neck, the one your grandmother gave you, and tucks it into your palm. Then he wraps your hand shut and says, "Don't let them see you holding on." He means the necklace. But years later you wonder, did he mean something more? They don't drag you away. That would be too loud, too slow. They walk, and you are made to follow. The snow isn't deep, but it erases your footprints almost as fast as you make them. Your name is called once, only once, as you vanish around the curve of the hill. Avdis. It doesn't echo. The wind keeps it for itself. You are not the only one. 23 boys from different villages gather in the stone-walled camp by the river. You learn to watch the ones who cry and the ones who don't. The ones who cry will either be the first to break or the last to surrender. One boy, maybe 12, has a cut across his face and doesn't speak at all. Another talks too much. He is gone on the 3rd day. At night, you sleep beside a boy named Kemal. That is not his name, but it is what they gave him. You learn that names are the first to die. They give you a number. You are 43. The number is easier than your name. It doesn't ache to hear it. The days become rituals. You are taught to speak Turkish before you can bathe. You are taught to pray before you can eat. You are taught to forget before you are taught anything else. A man in a red sash explains it clearly. You are no longer Christians. You are no longer villagers. You are sons of the Sultan now. Clean pages, ready for ink, but they do not write in ink. They write in hunger, in bruises, in quiet, public humiliation so carefully orchestrated that they almost feel like kindness. You learn to bow before you are looked at. You learn to smile when you feel nothing. You learn to be good, not to survive, but because anything else is unthinkable. One night, 2 boys whisper in Greek. You understand some of it. They say the empire is stealing your soul. They say no one becomes a janissary and returns. The next morning, only one of them is there. He says nothing. That night, the boy who remains walks into the river and does not come back. No one calls his name, because no one remembers it. Not even him. The first time you hold a real sword, it is heavier than you imagined. The instructor tells you to swing it like it is part of your own body, but your body still remembers a wooden flute, a cross, the shape of a brother's laughter. So instead, you learn to swing the blade like you're trying to forget. You are good at it. Too good. Your eyes stay calm. Your feet are fast. The instructors begin to notice. One says he will be a fine one. Another says he doesn't cry. The ones who don't cry rise quickly. You want to cry just to stop them. But something in you won't let it happen anymore. They place you in front of a map and ask, if you were to burn one village to send a message to the others, which would you choose? You do not answer. Then, you point. They smile. That night you vomit. But you do it silently. Dawn breaks. Thin and cold. The camp stirs, but the air feels heavier than the night before. The boy who whispered in Greek is gone and no one speaks of him. His bed lies empty, the blanket folded as if waiting for him to return. You understand this silence now. It is a language, a warning, a promise. You are part of a line, a river of boys whose names have been erased, whose stories have been folded into the Empire's shadows. The order is given: pack what little you have. You follow without looking back. The world you knew was a distant flicker, like a candle guttering in a storm. The march stretches for miles across rugged terrain, but no one speaks of the distance. The older guards talk in low voices, trading jokes you do not understand. The younger boys stumble, panting, coughing, some collapsing without a sound. You feel a hand close over your arm, a grip neither cruel nor kind, just firm. You keep walking. The nights are worst. You lie shoulder to shoulder with others, their breaths shallow and quick. You hear the crack of branches, the bark of a guard's order, the soft sobbing of someone who won't last the week. You clutch the silver cross hidden beneath your shirt, feeling its cold edge bite into your skin. In your dreams, your father's forge glows bright. But you never touch the flames. The lessons start before you reach the capital. You learn to move silently. You learn to speak when spoken to. You learn to be a shadow. The instructors do not ask if you want this. They say it is your honor. To serve the Sultan is to serve greatness, but greatness tastes like ash in your mouth. One night, you share a piece of stale bread with a boy named Hazan. He smiles through cracked lips and whispers, "Do you remember home?" You nod, though this memory feels distant, like a story told by someone else. He takes your hand and says, "We're not just boys. We are the Empire's blade. And this blade must be sharp, even if it cuts its own hand." You squeeze his hand, knowing that soon, one of you may not walk out alive. You reach the capital, the sprawling city of Edern. The marble buildings gleam like promises, but the air carries a scent of fear and blood. You stand before a panel of stern-faced officials who measure your teeth, test your reflexes, and ask you to recite prayers in a language you barely understand. You are no longer a boy. You are a number, a commodity. Your name, Avdis, is taken from you. In its place, a new name is whispered Mehmet. It feels strange on your tongue, like wearing someone else's skin. You want to scream your true name, but the words get caught in your throat. You learn the sword is not just a weapon, but a key to survival, a key to power, a key to the silence that now fills your days. Train until your hands bleed, until your eyes go numb. The boy you were once is fading, replaced by a soldier shaped by iron and shadows. On the eve of your first mission, you sit alone beneath the stars. You whisper to the sky your old name, Avdis. No reply comes. Only the cold wind, carrying with it the echo of all the boys who marched before you. The sun rises slow and heavy over Edern's walls, casting long shadows across the cobblestones. You stand among dozens of boys, now men in training, faces hard as stone, eyes colder than the river in winter. Today, you are given your first weapon, a curved blade, sharp and unforgiving. It feels alive in your hands. Your instructor, a man scarred by countless battles, steps forward. This blade will decide your fate. It will separate the loyal from the weak. But remember, it is also your cage. You nod, swallowing the bitter taste rising in your throat. You swing once. Twice. The air parts with a whisper. Each movement is a word in this language of survival. In the polished steel of your sword, you catch a glimpse of yourself, a boy no longer. You see the flicker of the child who once laughed beneath the Armenian sun, now replaced by a soldier trained to kill without question. You close your eyes, trying to hold on to something, anything from the past. But the reflection fades. The call comes in the dead of night. Your unit is ordered to march towards a village suspected of harboring rebels. The men around you speak quietly of duty, honor, and empire. But your hands tremble. You step into the village as dawn breaks. The houses smell of wood smoke and earth scents you once knew. You hear a shout. A man runs towards you, wielding a rusty axe. Your sword meets his. For a moment, you see his face clearly, tired, worn, full of sorrow. You strike. The man falls. As the blood pools beneath your feet, you realize something unbearable. The man you killed was your father. The name Avdis echoes faintly in your mind, a ghost from a life you can barely remember. Your comrades cheer, but you hear only silence. The Empire's sword has cut not just flesh, but memory. You are no longer just Mehmet. You are a fragment. You return to camp with a hollow heart. The instructors praise your obedience and skill. But inside, you feel the cage closing tighter. Your identity, your soul, your very breath all bound to a fate you did not choose. You stand at a crossroads. Resist and be broken. Submit and become the breaker. You close your eyes and whisper a name you no longer own. You wake to the cold light of dawn, the ache in your muscles a dull reminder of yesterday's battle. You are no longer a boy, not truly. Your face is set in the hardened mask the Empire demands. You are the shadow that serves the sword that serves the throne. 27. The cycle of the broken around you. Other boys become men, some broken, some hardened beyond hope. One named Yusuf smiles too often, laughs too loud. His eyes, though, betray a storm you know well. He fights the ghosts in silence, the ones who whisper he is no longer himself. You are promoted to lead a small group. The faces looking to you for guidance are familiar and strange, they carry the same scars as you. You teach them what you have learned, obedience before thought, loyalty before doubt. The lesson is hard, but necessary. One night, a whisper reaches your ears, a plot against the Sultan, whispered by men you once called brothers. You struggle with what you hear. The loyalty you were forged to uphold conflicts with the fragments of your old self. You report the conspiracy. Your actions save the Empire, but cost you your last thread of innocence. You walk alone through the palace halls, haunted by the faces of those you betrayed and those who betrayed you. Before a mirror, you see yourself a stranger wearing your skin. You reach out, but the reflection does not touch back. Your eyes are empty. To survive, you must become the hunter, not the hunted. You must break others to keep yourself whole. The Empire demands it. You comply. And so the cycle continues. Boys become men, men become shadows, shadows become swords. But beneath it all, the ghost of Avdis lingers silent, watching, waiting. Years have passed. You stand among the Empire's finest, a commander, a guardian of power. Your name, Mehmet, is spoken with respect, even fear. But deep inside, a silent scream echoes. The boy you were is gone, swallowed by the Empire's hunger. At night, when the palace sleeps, you see the faces of the boys you knew, Hazen, Yusuf, the nameless ones. They speak in whispers carried on the wind. Their voices remind you of a truth no crown can hide, that you all were stolen children, moulded and broken. The Empire's songs celebrate victory and glory. The histories speak of conquest and power. But the halls where you trained, the marble corridors, keep their darkest secrets. They do not tell of the boys who disappeared, the names erased, the innocence destroyed. You wonder if anyone will ever hear your story. If anyone will remember that beneath the sword lies a boy who dreamed of home. You clutch the cold silver cross your father gave you long ago, the one you hid and lost. Before dawn, you whisper your true name into the empty air. Avdis. The wind carries it away. No reply comes, only the silence. The Empire endures, built on the bones of the forgotten. And the boys who were made soldiers, they walk as shadows, forever bound to the sword. This story is not an end. It is an echo that demands to be heard.